I'd like to join the other speakers in acknowledging that we're meeting on traditional Aboriginal land today and pay my respects to the people of the Kulin Nation and to leaders past, present and emerging. And it's particularly important this week as Reconciliation Week to remind ourselves of that. And in the context of talking about the prevention of family violence, thinking about the children who were taken away from their mothers as part of the stolen generation, which is what we're thinking about this week in Reconciliation Week in particular. So thank you so much, Minister Hutchins, for your opening, and also thank you to Emily for that fabulous potted history of respectful relationships in Victoria. I think my role here today is probably two things to kind of build on Emily's fantastic overview. One is really to, on behalf of the Department of Education, who are working to mainstream respectful relationships, to thank you, to thank the family violence sector for your contribution to this very, very large undertaking. And secondly, I think my other purpose, which is a very joyful one, is to bring to you some of the voices of that rollout and talk to you a little bit about the impact that it's having and share with you some of the early signs of success that we're seeing. So, as you know, the Family Violence Royal Commission recommended respectful relationships as a key plank in prevention. And we believe that it's already driving generational change for thousands of Victorian students in government, Catholic and independent schools. As well as being a key family violence reform, respectful relationships education supports our efforts to make Victoria the education state and supporting the outcome of children being happy, healthy and resilient. So Emily's covered the history from the role of the family violence sector in driving change and bringing us up to 2015 to the Our Watch pilot, which I may have also had an involvement with in the Department of Health and Human Services, and the establishment of Our Watch, which was a very significant a significant statement, I think, to have a national body devoted to prevention. And it was through that work, as Emily has said, that the idea of taking a whole school approach to prevention got further traction. And the pilot that Emily spoke about ran in 19 schools. And the evaluation found that in a short period of time, a surprisingly short period of time, young people's attitudes and understanding about gender and violence improved. Schools also reported that classroom behaviour improved, including the relationships between students and teachers. And thirdly, noting that it's just as important to support the work of teachers and build their understanding as it is to reach the students. The evaluation found that there was a positive effect on staff members, encouraging them to look at their own attitudes and improving their understanding of the importance of promoting gender equality and respect. So in 2016, the same year that we received those findings from the pilot, the Family Violence Royal Commission highlighted the devastating impact of family violence on children and in our communities, and also highlighted, as we've said, the critical role that schools and early childhood services can play as agents for change in preventing and responding to family violence. And the 2016 budget provided $21.8 million to start the process of implementing the whole school approach to respectful relationships. And the approach we've taken has been to learn from and build on the pilot that was run by Our Watch, which, as Emily said, also had longer antecedents, to scale that up and make it sustainable across an entire system. So let me talk a little bit and briefly as I can, so that we can get to the voices, let me talk a little bit about what that looks like. So Emily mentioned the whole school approach, and this was the basis of the earlier work and also the Our Watch pilot. A whole school approach to respectful relationships goes beyond what is taught in the classroom to look at a school's culture and ethos, in staff rooms, on sporting fields, in school councils, and in all those social events that make up the fabric of school life. Fates, theatre productions, swimming carnivals, graduation days, school formals, and so on. And the whole school approach does this through 6 elements that you can see on the slide, which of course is just a slightly different version to a slide you've already seen this morning. And I won't run through those 6 elements because you've already seen them, but I think it's important to highlight the importance on this wheel of community partnerships and to, again, thank you, the workers and leaders from the community sector and the family violence sector who are supporting schools in this work. And again, to reiterate that your support of the schools in this work is absolutely invaluable. It's early days in some ways. We've been doing this work at the larger scale for about a year. But we consider that by working together, we are already seeing strong, robust referral pathways, prevention and response activities in place for schools and for students. And that this holistic approach, taking the whole school approach and involving the community, is recognising that schools are far more than educational institutions where we send young people off to work. Schools are also workplaces where staff should feel safe, valued and respected regardless of their gender, and schools play a crucial part in their local community. And so, consistent with good prevention policy, bringing the work to where people live, work and play, schools are an absolutely crucial site for prevention work. So where are we up to? This year, in 2018, we have over 1,000 Victorian schools implementing the Respectful Relationships whole school approach. And some of the members of our team from the department are here today, and they can certainly tell you we were overwhelmed between the launch of the Respectful Relationships initiative around the corner from here about 18 months ago, I guess, to today. We have been absolutely overwhelmed by the interest and engagement of schools and communities in supporting this rollout. And so we aim to have 1,000 schools. We have slightly more than 1,000 schools. And we've also gone a little bit above and beyond the Royal Commission's recommendation to extend the initiative into early childhood education by creating professional learning about respectful relationships for 6,000 early childhood educators, which is going to commence later this year. So Emily talked a bit about the importance of having not just the program and the curriculum and the focus within the school, but also the need to have embedded support within the education department and links out to the community. And that is part of the model that we are rolling out. Our Respectful Relationships workforce is the new workforce you heard a little bit about before, is a team of 34 staff members based in our 17 local areas who provide support to schools and early childhood settings to implement respectful relationships and to strengthen referral pathways and the response to family violence, noting, as you all know, that as awareness increases, so too do the need for referrals and disclosures. I know some of the people from our Respectful Relationships teams across Victoria in the Education Department are also here today, and I'd love, don't feel that you have to put your hands up, but thank you to you for the work that you do, your dedication and your work at the grassroots level. Driving change is with teachers, principals and the community sector is absolutely essential to this work. The model that we're using has a leading school and partner school approach. So we have 151 lead schools who receive intensive training and support. You're going to hear from a couple of those. And then their role is to mentor clusters of partner schools in their local areas. the tailored resilience, rights and respectful relationships teaching and learning materials for years prep to year 12 are aligned to the Victorian curriculum and are part of how we support the in-class implementation of respectful relationships. And crucially, professional development and learning for school staff. And as I've said, in early childhood settings, our approach to respectful relationships is through professional learning for early childhood professionals. We have a range of other supports as well for the rollout. Within the department, we have the dedicated health and wellbeing staff in schools and regional offices. We've also, again as a result of one of the recommendations of the Royal Commission, we have a family violence principal practitioner person, former person who worked in the family violence sector, who plays that leadership role in our department. And we also have family violence guidance, policy training and workplace contact officers for staff experiencing family violence within the department. So we are taking that look, that entire system look. And as Emily said, with 2 years in, we're also very interested and very open to the reflections that you may have on how that is working so far. So 2 years in, I'm really pleased to say that the recent budget has confirmed an additional 2 years of funding, a further $22.8 million for the next 2 years of rolling out respectful relationships. And this will mean that we can expand even further. We will bring the total of leading schools to 302 by the year 2020. We'll continue the professional learning for teachers in schools. We'll also have the option of professional learning for a further 2,000 early childhood educators. And the team I talked about, the 34 people in our regions, their roles will continue. The evaluation of respectful relationships we've talked about already. I think that one of the most crucial things from the evaluation, the previous evaluation, told us that we needed to take a whole school approach. And now, as we're evaluating the rollout that we're undertaking since 2016, it's crucial that we look at the whole school and the whole community approach and how well that is working. And that's partly why we're thrilled to be here today and to get your input and your views on how that's working. The evaluation needs to tell us how to continue to embed and improve this approach. And we are ever interested in how we can make this better and stronger and how we can improve the relationships within schools, within communities and with our partners. And the evaluation that we're undertaking will inform the next phase, potentially lead to further resources, some improvement of our professional learning, and we hope build a even deeper connection with the family violence and community sector. I've already talked a little bit about early childhood and the approach that we're taking to professional learning for early childhood educators. As many of you will know, in early childhood, in kindergartens, we don't have teachers and classes as such. We do of course have teachers, but their role is through play-based learning. And so working with the teachers to understand how to support children in safe and respectful ways to build their understanding from an early age is the purpose of our early childhood professional learning. And understanding and developing respectful relationships in early childhood will stand those children in good stead as they enter into more complex environments of school. And we're very much looking forward to rolling that out, commencing in the next couple of months. So enough of the administration detail. Let's hear from, I'd like to share with you some of the voices of people who are working directly in respectful relationships now. I want to share with you some of the changes that are underway in our schools. We recently interviewed Jess and Connor from Yarra Hills Secondary College, who you can see on the slide behind me, and their principal, Robin Dew. Jess said, after participating in respectful relationships classes, she now has a better understanding of how to speak out against gender stereotypes. Jess said, and I quote, "I know how to handle the situation if someone is being told they run like a girl or to man up." Connor said the program had made him aware of what's happening around him, including how some comments can make other students feel excluded. And in relation to gender stereotypes, Connor said, "Now that I know what this stuff is, I keep an eye out for it and I'm more aware of what I say myself," which is actually a really nice confirmation of the public campaign that's rolling out as well. The principal, Robin, said that students are now pulling each other up if they hear disrespectful comments in the schoolyard or the classroom. She said, "It's changing the culture of our school for the better. It's giving students a platform to say, 'I'm not happy with what's going on here,' and they can willingly speak up about it." She also said, "Our teachers are working to support students to develop their resilience, social skills and coping mechanisms, and I'm proud to say I can see a change across the whole school." Moving on to Spring Gully Primary School. Anyone here from Bendigo? Hello, I'm from Bendigo as well. My brother and sister went to Spring Gully Primary School, so I'm very happy this is one of our examples. Spring Gully introduced Respectful Relationships in 2017. They had a Respectful Relationships celebration day open to the whole school community to help dispel some of those myths about respectful relationships and for parents and carers to see firsthand what it really means. The school invited parents who are in careers that are not traditionally held by their gender to come in work year and talk about their jobs, to challenge students' perceptions, which, as we know, are formed from a very early age. And this included a female senior sergeant from the Bendigo Police Force, a dad who's a nurse came in his scrubs gear, and a mum who's a geologist came in her hard hat. And the event expanded the students' perceptions of who could have those careers and reinforced that gender should not exclude or prevent any young person from reaching their full potential, nor should it circumscribe in particular the opportunities and options for women. Maryborough Education Centre is one of our schools that's been with the program since the pilot in 2015, and the principal, David Sutton, has been one of our most supportive principals. He's a passionate advocate, and some of you may have heard him speak before. This photo is a showcase of a collaboration of years 8, 9 and 10 students. And the students worked on this themselves because they wanted to visually represent respectful relationships. And what the students said they wanted to do with this beautiful piece of graffiti art is reflect that women are beautiful, nurturing, successful, strong and empowered. And if you talk to David, which some of you may have done, he will also talk about how deeply the professional learning and the understanding about gender stereotypes has impacted on his staff and changed their very DNA in how they think about the dynamics in their classroom and beyond. So I'd like to finish by showing you a short video, if I'm allowed to. It's really good. Because rather than hearing me telling you what the teachers and parents said to us, I thought you might like to hear it from their own lips. And I think as we're on this journey, it is a wonderful opportunity to stop and reflect and think about the successes and the achievements so far. Thank you.